Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be discussing what I would do if I wrote Wings of Fire Arc 4. This video was suggested to me by Jenny Poole, so thank you so much for giving me this idea. Even though an Arc 4 hasn't been confirmed, there's no harm in imagining what it could be like. My ideal version of the story would be some kind of next generation story, similar to what Tui has mentioned she'd be interested in making. So, today I'll be giving my pitch for what I think a possible Arc 4 should be like, as well as which Dragonets be the protagonists. This video does contain spoilers for nearly all of the Wings of Fire books, so please keep that in mind. Also, before we start the video, a huge shout out to my patrons! Crazy Roblox Man, Draco95, Springtail Productions, 3 Moons, and Oretrix. Thank you so much for supporting me. Links to their social medias are in the description down below. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the video. I definitely think that an Arc 4 should center around the next generation of Dragonets. Some good protagonists would be Bumblebee, Auklet, Cliff, and Peacemaker. There would be a time skip of some sort, so each character would be around 3 years old. I'll be going over each of them individually, as well as giving what I think their personalities would be as they've matured. Then I'll be going over the overall story for the arc and what I would want to happen. So, let's get into it. I think Bumblebee would be the leader of the group. With her confident, fierce nature, Bumblebee is a natural-born leader who takes after Sundew when it comes to her traits. She feels overwhelming pride with the fact that Cricket is her mother, and looks up to Sundew so greatly that she wants to be just like her. Bumblebee is very brutally honest and open with sharing her opinions, not caring if other dragons find her to be loud or annoying, as long as her friends are by her side throughout it all. However, Bumblebee often lets her frustration and impatience get the best of her. She prefers to do things by herself, not easily wanting the help of others. She doesn't always know her place sometimes, causing her to often find her way into trouble when it comes to talking to dragons older than her. Bumblebee's negative traits have often led to plans totally falling apart, but she's open to admit when she's wrong, as much as she hates it. Bumblebee is the leader of the group and would do anything if it meant her friends were safe. Despite her tough exterior, deep down, she's a total softie with a heart of gold. The next Dragonet is Auklet, who wants to be like her older sister, Tsunami. She's a clear copycat when it comes to trying to be more like her, which often turns to be a negative thing because in doing so, Auklet hides her true personality down very deep. But deep down, she's caring, passionate, and often insecure when it comes to showing who she really is. Auklet won't back down from a challenge, though this can often spiral into a negative trait when she feels as though she needs to prove herself. She'll grow frustrated with herself as she tries to do something on her own, refusing help, even if doing so will cause emotional and physical strain. Auklet shares her passion with her sister, but some of her traits are quite the opposite. She's a thinker and acts based on emotion, but rather than jumping into the heat of battle, like Bumblebee and Tsunami, she'd rather think the most creative solution for a problem to be solved, and preferably one where nobody gets hurt in the process. Auklet is a talented artist, and often communicates how she's feeling through her works. Despite it all, she cares about her friends and family more than anybody in the world, and always finds room for improvement. When someone gets to know the real her, not the one she projects to the world, they can find themselves having a lot of fun with one of the most talented and inspiring Dragonets in the world. Cliff is the motivator and heart of the group. He tries to find the best in every dragon and find inspiration by looking at others in his life. If someone looked at Cliff, they would have no idea he was even royalty. He uses his cleverness and cheekiness to get out of dangerous situations, usually finding himself to be the comedic relief of the group. But don't let his unprofessional and unroyal nature fool you. Cliff has a lot of tricks up his sleeve and can make the most out of what he has. He's a skilled inventor and loves anything to do with maximizing his creativity potential. Cliff struggles with insecurity the least out of the group, but the times he does are absolutely damaging. However, he lets the thought of his friends and family keep him going and would do anything to save those he loves. Cliff speaks highly of himself, yet he lives up to the talk. He utilizes his clever thinking and craftiness to get the group out of dangerous situations and finds the best in everything. Cliff is the biggest motivator of the group and believes that every dragon is good inside of them, even some of the worst. He wants to be more kind like Ruby and more fierce like Peril, and combines his best traits to make him the bravest he can be. Cliff is the kind of Dragonet who will immediately jump in and start fighting if you get taken by the enemy. However, even with his big heart, he often finds it hard to put himself in other people's shoes. When someone does do wrong, he can't understand why any drag would want to do that. He tries his best to compare it to moments in his life, and uses that as his ability in understanding others. And lastly, the protagonist is Peacemaker. I know this one is a bit controversial, and I personally wouldn't want to see him as protagonist with how he is now in the books, but just bear with me. Peacemaker is the voice of reason in the group, but beneath his seriousness, one can find his heart. He loves to laugh and sing, and when he's with dragons he trusts, Peacemaker can be very open when it comes to his feelings and thoughts. He doesn't believe in secrets, and would prefer to have his thoughts read out to the entire world if he could, showing as he feels he has nothing to hide. To other dragons he appears calm and collected, but when one really gets to know him, they can see his unique sense of humor and how passionate he is about the things he loves. Even though everyone sees Peacemaker as ordinary, his friends find him odd, but in a good way. Whenever there's a problem, his friends look to him for help and counsel. Peacemaker tends to have the best advice, and has proved himself to be one of the greatest comforters in all of Pyra. Dragons feel safer and happier in his presence, no matter the situation. He's easily trusting of other dragons, something his friends don't always seem to share. Peacemaker would rather sit down and listen to what the enemy has to say than fight them, and chooses instead to make peace the peaceful way. But if he needs to act, he will, especially if the dragons he loves are in danger. Peacemaker almost seems to be an empath, always able to tell when his friends are hurting. He's caring, supportive, and loves all dragons, even those who hurt him. Peacemaker's friends call him the most honest, trusting dragon in all of Pyra, and the kind of dragon who deserves the world. I know this Peacemaker is a lot different from what we've gotten in the books, but this is something I'd rather see than just a character whose only personality traits are happy and ordinary. I know he's supposed to be the opposite of Darkstalker, but I think this wave opposite would make him a much more interesting character and perfect protagonist potential. Wow, that's a lot of P's. In this story, I can't decide whether or not I would want Peacemaker to know if his past life is Darkstalker or not. And plus, it's already pretty ironic that he hates secrets, yet has one of the biggest ones in the world he doesn't even know of. That may just be the only hint of his connection to his past life, if he doesn't ever find out. I'm still brainstorming the story this would follow, but I'm thinking of something somewhat along the lines of a group of rebels wanting to overturn the newly found peace between Pyra and Pantala. Bumblebee, Auklet, Cliff, and Peacemaker catch wind of their plans and are dragged in the situation, but there's one problem. Nobody believes them. With all the chaos going on beneath the surface, they must uncover the truth and find out the motives of this group of rebels who want to destroy the peace. Since no adults believe them, they have to take things into their own talons, doing things their way. With a group of 3-year-old dragonets saving the world, who knows what kind of crazy situations they could get into? The possibilities are endless. The thing nearly all 4 dragonets have in common is the fact that they want to be like their idols so much to the point where it becomes unhealthy. Other dragons aren't helpful in their self-comparisons either. They're pressured by those around them to be more like the ones who came before, and nobody has any idea they're doing it or what effect it has on them. Even those they look up to subconsciously expect them to be how they were, creating even more added pressure, even though they don't even realize they're doing it. It would be a tough thing for them to overcome, but once they do, they finally get to be who they really are, not just who they're expected to be. It would be a moment of freedom, free of expectations and judgment. This is honestly something I want to write, so let me know down below if you guys would be interested in an Arc 4 pre-write of some kind. This would be my biggest project yet, where I'd probably be writing half-size novels. I have so many ideas for how this could go, and this is too good of an opportunity to pass up. But anyways, what do you guys think? Let me know down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!